Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. This is a deep analysis for Bitcoin to see where are we heading and what we might face, of course, in this next phase, which we are right now in a little bit in a tension again. Globally, of course, we have some tension regarding the Iranian and the US war or strike, whatever it's gonna be. So we're gonna see how it's gonna affect as well the crypto markets. Of course, trade safe these in this phase, because we might see, of course, some volatility definitely in case something will happen. So starting with the all-time history, where we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 impulse toward the upside, finished wave 1 or wave A. 3 waves toward the downside for a wave 2 or a wave B, and we're looking, of course, for an impulse again in the next cycle as a wave 3, correction wave 4, and a final impulse, a wave 5 in the third cycle here to finish up, of course, a wave 1 or a wave A. So basically an impulse, full impulse, 5 waves has been finished there, of course, perfectly finished for a wave 1 or wave A. Wave 4 did not interfere. Wave 3 is longer than the wave 5. Wave 1 is extended here. So everything looks fine and perfect, of course, as an impulse. After we finished here the wave 1 or wave A, we have an ABC correction again for a deeper correction wave B there, or wave 2. Meaning we are looking here for something as an A, B, and a C toward the upside, or we are looking at a 1, 2, and then wave 3, 4, and a 5 continuation for higher prices. Now we start to see, of course, a formation of a wave 1 in the latest bull run, the last bull run that we saw, of course, during this cycle. We see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 potentially finished over there for a wave 1, and very likely that an ABC expanding flat is unfolding over here for a wave 2. Of course, this is a bear market that we got this time, and this time it might be, of course, a much more flat bear market rather than being in a deep, sharp, aggressive bear market that we saw before, of course, for example, from the 82K towards the 15K for Bitcoin. This time, of course, the bear market is going to be a little bit easier, which we never saw, of course, such a bear market before in a flat ABC expanding flat, and very likely to hit, of course, this area there, taking the low for the wave A, and of course hitting the 0.38 fib level at the same time in confluence with the 1.618, taken from the A to the B to the C there, of course. And don't forget also the technical support area here, which is a very, very interesting area where we might see a rebound, of course, for Bitcoin from this zone over there. So 70K, 68K, in between those numbers, of course, we are looking for a bottom here for Bitcoin to push, of course, for higher again in a wave 3. And in case, of course, we are in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, this will finish up whether we are in a wave C or a wave 3. So in both case scenario, in all-time history, we are heading, of course, to this area above the 200K, 220K. This is, of course, our potential target. This is the primary target. And of course, we might see some extension, maybe something much more stronger. But we're gonna see, of course, 200K, 220K are, of course, very, very likely here for Bitcoin for the next bull run, starting from the 68 and around it. Yeah, so that will be a very interesting push as well. It's a double, almost it's a double, of course, price for Bitcoin from the 68 to the 220K. Here we'll see, of course, how this is going to unfold for the bullish scenario. Now, the bearish scenario, of course, there are several bearish scenarios as well. It can be also that you might read this as a double zigzag complex structure within a wave X in between, meaning finishing a 3 waves up after 3 waves down, and that this might be a bigger bear market, and that means, of course, a bigger wave C there. Can be, of course, this push toward the downside here only a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So this impulse might be your wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5, of course, for a wave C. So we gotta be careful with this one, of course. I mean, it's still very far possibility, because we still need to see some weakness in this zone. We need to see a broken area there for lower prices. and then we call something very, very bearish. Highest possibility is to push, of course, toward the upside from these areas. So yeah, this is regarding the cycles here. Nothing yet, of course, scary, I would say, as bearish. I mean, this is very normal. In case, of course, that the wave 1 is finished there, it can be also a deeper correction, a little bit ABC zigzag, hitting again the bottom area of this technical support here and then pushing for higher. So even in this scenario, it can be a little bit deeper, maybe 53K. We're going to see it on the daily as well, and then pushing for higher as well. Now on the daily, before pushing, of course, within the possibilities, I would like to show, of course, again, the Kennedy channeling here regarding Elliott Wave, which is always, of course, a support for Elliott Wave theory there for the impulses especially. So once you see, of course, in this bull run, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, once you see the price exiting the acceleration channel, this is, of course, a red flag where we see, of course, the price starting to ranging, of course, around the base channel middle line. And we saw, of course, the price trying to exit the base channel one more time again for a final wave 5 to hit, of course, at least the lower part of the acceleration channel, which it did not happen. So the price failed, I would say, to exit the base channel, obviously, and especially this failure was, of course, the drop for Bitcoin from there, from the top. Meaning, of course, this part of this range here is a part of a correction and not an impulse, because, of course, we needed to reach the acceleration channel there and we didn't. So therefore, the ABC expanding flat has been called over there. Now, the wave C, of course, has two faces, right? So it can be a 1, 2, 3, but we were watching, of course, here based on the base channel taken from the wave 1 and based on the wave 2. We see the price exiting, of course, the acceleration channel and ranging again in the base channel. Until here, the things were perfect. Everything is fine. This is exactly what you would like to see. But what you would like to see again is, of course, the price coming out again of the base channel and at least hit the lower part of the acceleration channel, which it did not happen again. Meaning green flag there again. Was claimed, and we saw, of course, higher prices at that time, but of course the base channel was again, of course, as a resistance there, blocking the price from moving upward. And we start to see, of course, another impulse towards the downside. However, this has changed, of course, the psychology of the impulse toward the downside, because exiting the base channel is, of course, a total signal, of course, that no impulse is going to continue toward the downside, but something else. That means, of course, it's going to continue downward, but it might be, in this case, the diagonal 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. And the price is going to be ranging only in the base channel. We cannot, of course, expect that the price hit the acceleration channel again. So that means, of course, yeah, wave 3, wave 4, and a 5. Hitting our target here, and very likely the middle line base channel getting out again, hitting the base channel from the upper line here, and then, of course, pushing in bullish scenario again for higher prices. If we take a look on the daily for the labeling here for the ABC expanding flat, we had first and primary scenario was the 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 here, but the wave 4 was very late. It exited, of course, the channels, and that means, of course, we cannot accept it so much anymore as a wave 4 and a 5 here, because, of course, even double 1, 2 were not played here. The wave 2 time is too short regarding this wave 4 as alternation. They don't work. So very likely that this scenario is out of the possibilities right now a little bit. Highest possibility is this scenario, which is an ending diagonal right now unfolding over there for, of course, a 1, 2. I'm gonna remove this, no need. So basically we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 expanding diagonal there. You have the wave 3 longer than wave 1, the wave 4 interfering with the zone 1, perfect, and the wave 5 very longer than the wave 3. So everything is perfect as an expanding diagonal. Wave C there, very rare, but it happened here. and working perfectly here as a wave 2 as well, a zigzag, and we see of course another wave 3 unfolding toward the downside here. So very likely right now we are looking for this wave 3, and I would like to see a zigzag there unfolding. Basically, if this is a wave A, B, and a C here, it can be of course a zigzag already unfolding, and we might see an extended wave C there. So very likely based on the price yesterday and today, so very likely that we might continue the drop here potentially as an ABC deeper wave C. Otherwise, we have to check, of course, on the lower time frame if this is a finished impulse here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Can be wave A, wave B, and a wave C later on. So two possibilities here, whether an extended wave C or it's a finished wave A, B, and a C, of course, continuation towards the wave 3 over there. 76K can be very likely there as a possibility, and then 4 and a 5 to hit, of course, our 1.618. Taken from the A to the B and to the C, which is of course in confluence with this technical support area here, and as well minimum requirement 0.38 will be taken, and even lower a little bit. So that would be a perfect scenario. Now, the deepest correction that we might get in case we break this area, in case we break of course the 69K, very likely to be in a W, X, and a Y. But this time we are counting the impulse as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that the wave 5 might be finished here somehow in a 5 waves. However, I don't like it because, as I mentioned, the wave 5 didn't broke the base channel to hit the acceleration channel, therefore a little bit lower possibility here than the diagonal. And of course, the W, X, and a Y, of course, can be hitting lower here, which it can be, of course, 0.38 fib level. This time taken, of course, from the bottom to the top of Bitcoin here, all-time high, and we get, of course, a lower 0.38, minimum requirement 56K 500, and that means, of course, yes, you might still, of course, in this stronghold range area and then pushing toward the upside. The target in confluence between the W, X, and a Y, of course, here we have the target in confluence between the minimum requirement, the 1-to-1 fib level, and the strong area, of course, as a support here. So 56 and 52K might be, of course, our also target here there, but only in case we break this area. Yeah, so we have two areas, one in priority here, and if broken and weakness will be seen over there, then we of course shift to this area and potentially to the 52K, 53K for Bitcoin. Yeah, so this is exactly what we are looking for right now. Now, the bullish scenario, well, the possibility was already very, very low and still going lower, especially with the last price heading directly to the 886 this time. And once taken means, of course, yeah, very likely to take the low, meaning invalidation of all bullish scenarios. Once we take this low there, we cannot talk about anything bullish until we finish, of course, the expanding flat here wave C, then we talk bullish again. Okay, so this is a very, very low possibility currently. On the 2 hours chart as well for Bitcoin, if we dive deeper, so as we can see, we have two possibilities here, as we mentioned on the daily, whether it is a full impulse finish there, or it is an A and B and a C still unfolding toward the downside here. The wave C can be an extension, so we gotta be careful with it. So what if this happens? I mean, at the end, I'm looking here for a wave A as well. Also can be a wave B, and also can be a wave C to unfold very, very deeper, right? In this case scenario, then, okay, you have to count that you have finished this wave 5 over there, right? And potentially finished wave 1 or a wave A, right? And wave 2 or a wave B here. And we are looking therefore for a wave 3, 4, and a 5, which it can be, of course, deeper wave A, and then B and a C. Okay, or we are already in the A, B, and a C. Now, for me, honestly, highest possibility is to be in the zigzag already A, B, and a C there, unfolding for Bitcoin, because I'm looking here at this ABC. Well, it's very, very likely also that we start to unfold direct ABC there. Now, if it wants to do something like this, also, it's not so far from it. I mean, as comparison here. So yeah, I mean, at the end, both are heading towards the downside, but it would be, of course, much better if we can catch the correction very right here. So basically, I would say if this is a 1, 2, 3 here, 4 and a 5, so also I would consider, yeah, it's better to consider also this wave 5 finish there. So wave 3 also can be finished short, and currently you're looking at this wave 4. Well, our target has been taken perfectly here. But yeah, if we are looking for this 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, can be, of course, also a finished scenario. But basically, I'm still looking then for a wave 5 for lower, which it can be also our wave C. Yeah, so this is the extension that I'm talking about. Yeah, so as an A, B, and a C, it can be an extended wave C there in a wave 5 as well. So yeah, we might drop very, very massively there. Okay, so be careful with Bitcoin. We might see something dropping very fast, and of course, especially the tension, again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the tension, the global tension that we have right now might affect this. Also, we might see, of course, a massive drop once the thing starts, in case it will. Hopefully not, guys, but yeah, it might happen. So basically, no invalidation of bearish. All of this will be, of course, yeah, will be removed here just for clarity. And here we are. Yeah, so the next target is around 70k, 78k, 76k for Bitcoin. Yeah, to reach, of course, a wave 5. It can be extended. Don't forget to the 74k, 1.618. The extension Fibonacci level there can be hit as well. Okay, so finally, A, B, and a C. Okay, or it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The wave 3 is short here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You might get the short wave 5 with a 0.618 here, and then get your wave A, and then B and a C. Okay, so one of these two scenarios are going to happen there. Yeah, so these are the possibilities for Bitcoin. Currently on the 15-minute chart as well, we are looking at our correction. If this correction is done and finished, well, it can be, guys, because I see an impulse right now unfolding here as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. 4 and a 5 might be continuation toward the downside. Or, of course, it can play a little bit of psychology first and then, of course, start to calm down slowly in a triangle here in a longer wave 4, okay, during the weekend then. Yeah, but we'll see. Of course, if something happens during the weekend, this can happen also for Bitcoin to drop very, very down. At the end, even a triangle signify, of course, a correction, and then we drop down. So better to be in the right direction in both case scenarios. Yep, so this is regarding Bitcoin for the daily analysis, and of course the deep analysis and the micro level as well. Trade safe, and of course, thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.